This is a recording on what happens when you eliminate desire. When you eliminate desire, what you're left with is your needs. And you realize that you have to make a distinction between what you want and what you need. And you would think that if you got rid of desire, which is the cause of a lot of trouble in this world, wanting things to be different than they are, approaching somebody, wanting them to do something with you, um, you would think that by eliminating desire and want, you would eliminate suffering. But what you're really left with is the reality of your needs and how much conflict goes into getting your basic needs met. And this is takes us back to the anti-natalist position of really thinking twice before you bring children into this world, because this is a world of trouble. Even if you're very disciplined, and your discipline is so great that you've eliminated desire, you still have to swallow your food. And for some people, that's no problem. But for someone like myself, ever since I was a child, I had a very narrow, constricted throat. And my food gets caught in my throat when I try to swallow. So I have to chew very carefully. And whether it's steak or canned fish or certain foods just don't go down my throat very well, and I need to wash it down with a big drink, and it can't be carbonated water. So if it's pop or carbonated water, the it actually makes it worse. So just a clear normal drink of water helps push that food down. um, Thankfully, my digestion has always been pretty good, so moving my bowels and digesting my food has never been a problem. And so I'm thankful and lucky that way, because for some people, they have constipation and they have digestion issues and problems with their bowels, and um, life is trouble. And it's does they say desire is suffering, the root of suffering is desire, but I would actually take that a step further and say the root of suffering is to have basic needs, necessities, facts, things you have to do. That is also suffering, and it's conflict. And for me, the simple act of having a shower, I live in a shared house, and my shower leaks on my neighbor, so she gets puddles of water on her floor in her living room because my shower above her leaks. And, it's for the landlord and the plumber to fix that, but it's not that they're not willing to fix it. They've tried 5 or 6 times. They can't figure it out. So, because it's such an old house, they just can't figure out how to fix the leak. And so they ignore, they give up. My neighbor is left upset. And if she's upset, I'm upset because I have to hear her screaming and yelling, and it's disturbing. So necessity is trouble. So think twice before bringing a child into this world, because you can discipline them. You can teach them that desire and wanting is going to lead you into trouble and suffering. But that doesn't mean your basic needs aren't going to also cause you conflict and suffering. So we have to be aware and try to have compassion and empathy for each other, because um, sometimes it's just the sheer brute necessity that gets in the way of enjoyment. And I just got a notification. Just want to check it. I found a quote from the Ashtavara, Ashtavakra Gita, and it says, "Do not stir the mind with yes or no. You are pure consciousness. Be still and abide in the bliss of the self." So these yes and no dilemmas that we're constantly put into, like, what do you want? Do you want this or do you want that? And most of us would like to clear away the choices and the dilemmas and try to just focus on saying yes to the basic needs of life and not worry about making choices. Why not just eat when you're hungry? Why not digest when you have to digest? Why not sleep when you're tired? Um, why not clean up when it has to be cleaned up? You know, washing the dishes and cleaning the kitchen and cleaning the toilets. Um, these things all have to be done. These are necessities, and it's not a choice. It's not a yes or a no. It's a I must do this, and that's the thing about existence and about the bliss of the self. Is that you've got no choice. You have to act, and a lot of it is cleaning up. It's clean washing and cleaning yourself. Um, it's in my case, struggling to swallow food. Some people have plumbing issues. Their toilet doesn't work properly. Sometimes the fridge breaks down. Sometimes the laundry and washing machine doesn't work. It's a world that is in need of repair and maintenance. And we need problem solvers in this world. We need people who understand engineering and understand, the technology that has made our lives easier. And yet, if something fails, we're in a lot of suffering. And it's not because we're desiring. It's not as simple as, oh, well, you wanted something or you had a desire, therefore you deserve to suffer. Sometimes it's actually not that simple. Sometimes it's, I need a place to sleep. I need a place to exist. Um, these necessities and these needs of my biological organism are a source of trouble and suffering. And I don't believe in Buddhism or Taoism, where if you get rid of your desires and wants, then you'll be free of suffering. You're still going to suffer, whether or not you have desires or not. Eh, have Being aware of your desires and limiting what you want can be helpful, but you're still going to be in conflict and you're still going to have trouble, and everybody's troubles are unique, and a lot of it is due to the imperfection of the physical organism. So Jesus' teachings of be perfect, I don't agree with. Um, we're not perfect. We're all uniquely flawed, and we all have medical issues, and um, there's there is imperfection, and um, so these yes and no dilemmas that we're always caught in, a lot of us would like to overcome those yes and no dilemmas because they're so taxing. They take up so much mental energy to decide and to pick and choose. And sometimes we just want to say, you know what? I need a place to sleep and I need a place to exist in. I need food to eat. I need clothes to wear. Um, but these things have to be maintained, and there's a cycle of work that is necessary. And that's the thing about social assistance and welfare and being stuck in your apartment, is that there's still work. There's always work to be done. There's no such thing as not working. Um, I gotta make a distinction between play and work. And, childhood is very long where you get a lot of playtime. And some of us we were given great childhoods where we had an extremely long passage of adolescence and we had a lot of playtime. But as an adult, you have to work. And sometimes it's a problem solving thing where you get a leak, your shower leaks on your neighbor. She's upset, she's screaming and yelling. Um, that's a painful shock. it's trouble. And that's why I say to anybody thinking about having children is that you don't know, it's a roll of a dice. You don't know if that child's going to come out and have serious imperfections. And those imperfections are not desires, it's not wants, it has nothing to do with how disciplined the child could be very disciplined in terms of what he wants and what he desires and eliminating those wants and desires. But ultimately, you have needs. Those are brute facts, and those demand action, and those there's a demand there for clothes, food, shelter, cleaning supplies, and I don't believe it's easy. I've heard gurus, UG Krishnamurti, talk about food, clothes, and shelter, how these aren't very difficult to attain. They might not be difficult to get, but there's difficulty maintaining and keeping those things through the cycle of work, through having to do your laundry, to using the shower, to fixing plumbing issues, to, um, in my case, the simple act of eating. I have to be careful not to choke on my food. Um, it's painful. It's a lot of suffering, and it's not necessarily because I want and I desire. I have needs.